Hello, beautiful being. Welcome today on a new episode of By Sophia. Today, our topic is stories. As usual, I'd like you to take a moment for yourself to feel what happens when I say the topic is stories. Is your mind already starting to tell you stories? Do you start fidgeting? Do you feel an itch or a pain somewhere in your body? It's all okay. Maybe everything is quiet. Nothing happens. It is all fine. You don't need to accept it. You don't need to take a run with these stories. You don't have to push away what you're experiencing. Just observe what is. So that when it isn't helpful for you, it can transmute into something that is helpful for you. But our first step to make it possible to transmute, to change, is awareness. So observe what is. Don't judge yourself. Don't give labels, good or bad. So, stories. Who doesn't know them? The stories that your head is telling you. Always. In every situation, there's something where there is something that you would like to change or do something new for whatever reason. Or maybe it is just a pattern that is in your life. Whatever you do, whatever happens, your head starts to make up stories. And most of the time, actually almost never, they're helpful for you. It can go from, oh, what will other people say? Or what will other people think? To, if I try that, it always goes wrong with me. when you did sign up for something, an experience, something new, schooling, education, whatever. Your head starts to tell you, should you do it? Isn't it too much time? Isn't it this? Isn't it that? Isn't it too dangerous? A lot of things to keep you from doing what you want and what you actually need to live aligned with your core being. But when is your head telling stories? And when is it truly nothing for you, that new experience or whatever? When you encounter something new or something you'd like to do, or what happens in the first 3 to 5 seconds in your body, even in your head, is the truth, is aligned with who you truly are. Everything that happens after those first few seconds are stories from your mind that keep you from you. And then the question is, to what, to whom are you listening? Are you listening to your core being, to who you truly are? Or are you listening to that storyteller in your head? And in the beginning, when you start to change your mindsets, when you feel there's more in your life than what you're living at this point, most of the time you will be listening to that storyteller. And it is a learning process to stop listening to it and to stick with your feeling, what you know is right. But there's one simple thing you can always do when you start to be aware of the stories that are playing in your head. You can say thank you for sharing, but it's not what I need to do. I know you try to protect me, but it's not necessary anymore. And these stories will try to come back at first. But keep repeating the same thing. And if they really try to overwhelm you, you can write them off. Start writing till they stop coming. And then burn the paper. Give all those thoughts to the fire. So you can feed, you can nourish yourself with the ashes. Let it be nourishment for your core being. That you are sticking with yourself and not listening to all the stories. Because in 99% of the time, those stories aren't helpful. And at 1 or 2% of the time they are helpful is in situations it is life-threatening. But then your core being also responded in the same way, and you immediately have taken action. So no worries. If you are truly in danger, your core being will support you. Together with your mind, you will create the right action in that situation. Another fantastic tool when your head still doesn't stop spinning and it keeps making stories is meditation and or breath. And a lot of times people say to me, yeah, but when I'm at work and I get overwhelmed, I don't have the time to stop for 1 minute to take a deep breath, to do a quick meditation. And there's no room to do it behind my desk or whatever your job is. And actually, there's always a time and a space, place to do it. There's always a place in every workplace where you can go without questions. And that's the toilet. No one sees you, what you're doing in the small room. No one hears what you're doing. It's nobody's business what you're doing there. But it gives you time and space to come back to yourself, to get rid of the unhelpful stories. And then there's another kind of story. The story we tell ourselves about the life we want to live. They are positive most of the time, but there is something that holds you back from living that life you want. And can you guess what it is? It's more stories. Because you can do affirmations and mindset practices, but are you aware of what happens within you when you are doing these affirmations, setting intentions? Because in your head you can have a great idea of doing it, but when there's underneath a lot of thoughts and stories that don't support your dream, which you're telling yourself, it won't happen. So you can try to convince yourself as hard as you want that that will be your life, that that is your life, when you're not aware of what happens underneath when you're doing it. There's not much that will change, yet you can in life take action and some things will happen. But when you say, for example, this year I want to earn, I don't know how much, and you are still taking action because you know you have to do something, because otherwise it won't change. You can say the affirmation 100 times every day. You can find another job, you can start a business, whatever. But if underneath there still is a story, I am not worth it, I don't believe I can do it. There are a lot of stories we have. Believe me, I know. If those stories keep popping up, nothing will change. Or just a little bit. It will be really hard to really manifest your dream, your goal, when you still have those limiting thoughts, beliefs, stories happening in your system, your mind. So when you set intentions, when you set goals, try to be aware. Not try, be aware of what happens in your system, in your head, and work with it so it can transmute into something helpful for you. Go and work with those stories. And that helps you to live your true self, aligned with your core being. And sometimes it might feel tiring, questioning yourself. Sometimes it feels like you're questioning your own every move. But how else will you be aware of what happens if you never, ever take a look at yourself? How do you expect to change your life, your circumstances, when you still are on the same roller coaster of stories in your head? Being aware is the first step. Replacing those thoughts when they are processed and helpful thoughts and helpful actions is a next step. And then when you are changing your thoughts, your actions, from where does it come? Is that aligned with yourself? Or is there another story behind it? Is there something behind it like, I have to do this because otherwise I will keep stuck in the same place? I have to do this to prove that I can do it. Being aware of the stories. Stop listening to them and replace them with actions, with feelings, with thoughts that are helpful for you. It always takes coming out of your comfort zone. Always. But always be aware of the motive behind the change. Is it coming out of your comfort zone, aligned with yourself? Or is there an ego motive or an emotional response that makes you do it? Always be aware of your actions, your thoughts, your feelings, emotions, your body. And even though it sounds like a lot, and I'm telling you this, and sometimes you feel stuck, when you take a step back, you can see a lot has changed without you even noticing it. Even though you are aware of everything you do, sometimes, of a lot of the times, it happens so naturally you don't see the way you've already walked. Because you keep holding on to the story of the goal you have set, of the dream you want to achieve, or just simply wanting a quieter mind. When you go look at that again, you will see it is a lot quieter than a few weeks, a month, 2 months ago. But sometimes you fall back a little. It's okay. Growth is not a linear process. It goes with ups and downs. And it always gets better. Even when you come in a down and you take a step back and see the whole picture, you can see how much more beautiful your life has become. And it's still growing. So, this was today's episode on stories. I would like to hear from you. What happened? What do you think about this? Or maybe you would like some guidance. No matter which one it is, come back to me. Till next time. Much love, Sophia.